Please go subscribe to the Rumble channel for Franchise Sports TV under the name FSTV22. Now, I'm using that Rumble channel for any purposes of me getting kicked off YouTube and also for more of my spicier joints. It's free as well. I have the freedom to say whatever I want to say as well. So go subscribe to FSTV22. That is Franchise Sports TV 22 on Rumble. Well, I'm guessing I'm going to continue on with this sort of Buck series now that I did talked about the 3 finals runs that the Bucks contribute to in the NBA, and also as Michael Redd, I guess, and Ray Allen not too long ago. So I'm gonna go to the 80s because I wanted to talk about the 80s Bucks. The 80s Bucks was more of a one of those teams that they were good, but they just couldn't get past the top tier teams in the NBA. But on that team, I should say on those teams, I want to talk about Sidney Moncrief. Now, Sidney Moncrief was one of my dad's favorite players. I used to hear about him all the time when I was young, because he always used to tell me about the Bucks history. Yeah, it went back when the Bucks were in the 80s. They was good. They had Sidney Moncrief, Junior Bridgman, all these guys. They had them all. Sidney Moncrief was a monster on defense. I kept hearing that. He wasn't too pleased when I put Ray Allen at the shooting guard position instead of Sidney Moncrief, but it is what it is. I grew up watching Ray Allen. Didn't grow up watching Sidney Moncrief. He retired in 91. But let me talk about him right quick. So, he was born in the late 50s, September 21st, 1957, out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Went to high school at Hill in Little Rock, Arkansas. Went to college in Arkansas from 1975 to 1979 as well. While he was in college, he entered the University of Arkansas basketball program, and he was coached by, A.D. Sutton. And I guess A.D. Sutton and Gene Cady, who basically resurrected that Arkansas program for most of the 70s. And Moncrief led the Razorbacks, what they call it, to the SWC regular season championship in 1977, 78, and 79, and the tournament championship in 77 and 79. And also, Moncrief led the Final Four run for the Arkansas in 1978, but they would lose to the eventual Kentucky champions in the semifinals as well, and defeated Notre Dame in the last third place game ever played at the Final Four. I forgot they actually did that back then. The next year, Moncrief and Arkansas lost to Larry Bird and Indiana State in the Elite Eight. And I guess Moncrief's time there caught people's eyes with the Razorback program. I guess it's when supposedly Moncrief and Larry Bird became somewhat of friends. But his jersey was retired right after he went to the NBA. There's only 2 jerseys along with Corliss Williamson, if you guys remember him. He was at one point in time the all-time leading scorer for for Arkansas until Todd Day broke his record in 1992. And Moncrief was inducted into the Southwest Conference Hall of Fame. That's at 2014. And also honored by Arkansas, his name put on the banner that was hung on the Razorbacks' new home at the Bud Walton Arena. And also the first person to have his number retired with Arkansas. And part of the Arkansas Hall of Fame. Now let's get to his NBA career. So originally, Jerry West actually wanted him, not the Bucks. But the Bucks got to him first. He was drafted in 1979, first round, 5th overall pick. I think that's even mentioned. It might have been mentioned in that winning time for Showtime Lakers. I don't remember. I thought it was. Maybe I could be wrong. But yeah, he was drafted first round, 5th overall pick in '79 by the Bucks. This is a time when the Bucks were trying to pick up the pieces after Kareem left a couple years before. He was pretty much the main staple for this team. He helped the Bucks get to in 1980-81 a 60-22 record, third best in the league, while averaging 14 points and 5 rebounds and 3 assists. But I think this is the year when he got kicked out by the 76ers in 7 games. I remember this story. And this story is Don Nelson unsuccessfully contested Milwaukee's 99 and 98 Game 7 loss for 2 hours and 16 minutes. It's actually a story I heard by my dad because, not to reveal too much, but my dad is friends with Don Nelson's son-in-law. So that's a story I heard a lot, but I guess what behind it was Don Nelson was questioning if Philadelphia got away with 24-second violation at the end of the game, but it didn't matter. But Sidney Moncrief, I won't go too much into his whole entire career, but Sidney Moncrief, we're just gonna say this: he's not talked about a lot, but from watching some I gotta watch the highlights. I didn't get a chance to watch them when I was growing up, but watching some highlights, he could have been easily one of the top 10 guards in the league during the 80s. He was much more known for his defensive prowess. He was a Defensive Player of the Year twice in back-to-back years in 1983 and 1984. He was also Defensive First Team 4 times between 1983 and 86, and all Defensive Second Team in 1982. And he was a 5-time All-Star from 82 to 86, NBA First Team in 83. So, he was no joke. Most of the big-time guards always say they have a tough time when he's on the court, because he was a very good defender, very handsy. He was also, on the offensive side, as well as the defensive side, very explosive. See, there's one thing the youngest don't know about the players from the past. They act like the players in the past were slow-mos. No, Sidney Moncrief was easily explosive. I think I literally saw him get a rebound, put that motherfucker right back up real quick at 6'4". Like literally come from the ground and dunk up on vert. Stuff like that. And run up and down the court fast as hell. Just as fast as hell as anybody else can do now. Yeah, like these guys were just slow, unathletic. These guys were athletic as hell. There was only 2 athletic. Well, I could say Jordan was way out there with the athleticness, but they act like everybody else outside of Jordan was just slow. But anyways, in 1984, Moncrief and teammates Terry Cummins and Paul Presley combined for 76 points and an impressive 67% of Milwaukee's points in a 114-99 victory against the Detroit Pistons. A win that did not have Don Nelson, Mike Dunleavy Sr., and Charles Davis, who all suffered neck and back injuries the previous Saturday night at Baltimore Airport. But I want to see. But every year, like I said, the Bucks were always in it. They was always winning 50 games. They was eliminated in 1984? Yeah, it was 1984. What could have been 1984? Or 85. But it was eliminated by Michael Jordan and the Bulls. No, it was the other way around. They eliminated the Bulls and Michael Jordan in the first round in 3-1 series. But they got kicked out by Philadelphia once again. It seemed like Philadelphia and Boston were their nemesis pretty much. Those were the 2 teams that kicked them out a lot. That stopped them from catching glory. Let's see here. But it was just like every year. It looked like they was going to win. Pain. Looked like it was going to win. Pain. Looked like it was going to win. Pain. Either by the Celtics or the 76ers. But towards the end of his career, he had knee injuries and foot injuries. he was missing a lot of games as well. Uh, he ended up retiring after the 88-89 season, I think. Yep, it was the 88-89 season. Sat out for the 89 and 90 season, but came back for the 90 and 91 season. Playing one season with the Atlanta Hawks before retiring after their postseason run. He scored 23 points in 22 minutes in a Game 4 victory against the Detroit Pistons, but they would lose the series. His number is retired with the Bucks number 4 in 1990 and rededicated at halftime in 2008 when the Warriors, I guess he was a shooting coach for the Warriors, visit the Bucks. When he, as a leader of the Milwaukee Bucks, he had the third best winning percentage for the decade, only behind the Lakers and Boston on the Bucks. And like I say, he was known for his explosiveness, only at 6'4", playing defense hard. He also said that because they was asking him, it was an interview. They was asking him, was it an interview? It was like some of those, I don't know. He was speaking somewhere, but they was asking him questions about what player did you get up for, and he said no player he got up for. He treated everybody the same. Everybody got the same treatment on defense. But he also asked him who was the toughest offensive players he ever faced. One, he said Philadelphia's Andrew Toney, mainly because he can post up and you never know what he can do. And then, of course, the other one was Jordan. Out of his 11-season career, he only averaged 15.6 points per game. He still holds the Bucks' record for career free throws at 3,505, and also career free throw attempts at 4,214, as well as the career offensive rating now 119.7. But he could have actually went more with his career. When I mean more, he could have played longer if it wasn't for, like I said before, the knee issues. Kind of the same thing that was going on. You could say was going on with several NBA players today, like a Kawhi Leonard. I guess he had terrible knee cartilage that's just fading away. But Michael Jordan described him as, when you play against him, you're in a night of all-around basketball. Hell, he'll hound you everywhere you go. Both ends of the court, you just expect it. Larry Bird said, Moncrief's ability to defend anyone. Moncrief does this when he's supposed to do on defense. He doesn't take any shortcuts, plus he does this every night. Sort of what Moncrief said in that interview. He's not taking any shortcuts. He treated everybody the same. Or even if they was a lesser player, he still get the same defensive intensity. But yeah, he was kind of small, 6'4", to some of the much larger guards out there. But he also is quoted by saying, I just took it as a responsibility as much as it was a challenge. That was something I needed to help the team win games. I rather just chill on defense, get back on offense, but I didn't have that luxury. He was quoted as saying. He's also part of I forgot to mention, he's also part of the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame in 1998, which is basically outside of the U.S. Silly Arena right now. And he's a Hall of Famer as well, elected in 2019. My dad was proud of that. My dad was always saying he should have been there a long time ago. His best year with the Bucks, points-wise, was 22.5 in the 82-83 season. The All-Stars. And playing 76 games as well. 5 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and 1.5 steals. His best career steals average was 1.7 in the 81-82 season, along with his rebounding as well. He could pass, averaged 5.2 assists, basically average, in 84-85 season. In his last year at Atlanta, he only averaged 4.7 and only started 3 games, but played in 72 games. But yeah, in 1986-87, he only played in 39 games. So yeah, those injuries were taken apart compared to the year before, playing in 73 games. He never played 82 games. I will say that. Never played 82 games. Played in 5 All-Star games. Started in 2, only averaging 11.6. Playoffs, of course, everybody, Gets better. His best year in the playoffs in the 85 season, averaging 23. He did have 6.9 rebounds in 84 playoffs. I think that's the year they got knocked out by the Sixers. I think 85 is knocked out by... Who was they knocked out by in 85? Let me check right quick. 85 would be the first year they did not have Marcus Johnson on there. They was knocked out, by the Sixers. That's what I thought. Swept by the Sixers in semifinals in 85. But, I guess he became coach for the University of Arkansas Little Rock for one season. They wasn't good with him on it. 4 wins and 24 losses. He did coach, continue to keep coaching around Fort Worth Flyers, the D-League team at the time. He was a shooting coach for the Golden State Warriors. He was assistant coach for the Milwaukee Bucks for a couple of years, analyzing and commentating on Bucks games as well. But that's Sidney Moncrief for you. Probably one of the better defensive players that this league has seen. You can even say he's probably some better defensive player than some of these damn cats that got out now playing. I wanted to say something else, but I keep it there. But one more last stat I want to say. He's part of a list of players in college that had 2,000 points and 1,000 rebounds as well. I think that list is amongst... Who's in that list right quick? That list... Ain't really many people in that list. Lonzo Mourning is one of them. Hank Gathers, Elvin Hayes, Rick Barry is a part of that list as well. But that's Sidney Moncrief. Probably one of the best defenders the league has ever seen. I don't think he gets enough credit. So that's why I'm talking about him. But I'm probably going to talk about another Bucks player during the 80s as well. So stay tuned.